What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Madness University. I'm Nick. I'm here with LZ as always, and today we are going to talk goats versus prospects. LZ, this is some important stuff. I think in terms of our Madness U episodes, this will be very actionable advice for the audience.
Yeah, it will, Nick. It all depends on kind of what you're doing in the hobby, I'll say, right? So when we say GOATs, we're talking greatest of all time type players. Ones that come to mind, Mickey Mantle, Michael Jordan, uh, Tom Brady, Jackie Robinson, right? So these are the ones that are coming to mind, especially kind of Mount Rushmore GOATs that you want to chase. And then prospects, typically prospects are rookie cards, right? You're you're doing some research, trying to figure out if you can buy low on a rookie and get some big returns. So I think it really depends on your appetite for risk. Everything's a risk-based decision, right? Um, Long term, you can think of investing in a goat as one of those blue chip stocks. You're going to invest in Apple. You're going to invest in Walmart, and you're going to get I don't know, a 5% return over the next 20 years every year, right? Those are the goats, right? They're safe bets, but if you watch the plot line, you will see kind of that continuous growth over the years, typically with these goats. So that typically is a safer play. It's typically a more expensive play because these cards are expensive. They are the goats for a reason. So they're going to be pricier. But if if you don't have a lot of money, maybe, or even you're just looking for to chase a high, to chase a thrill, prospects can be a great thing to get into. I actually equate it to playing fantasy sports, especially like keeper leagues. If anybody does that, I think we all go into a fantasy football draft, especially if it's a keeper league, and we're going to do some research before there, and we're hoping in the final two rounds of that draft that you can draft some rookie that's going to end up being on your team for the next 12 years and you only paid $1 or you drafted them in the last round and you can get a serious return on them. One of the best ones that comes to mind right now, I think for modern or semi-modern a couple of years ago is Brock Purdy, right? Who would ever thought that he turned out the way he was, right? So that's a good example of a prospect. People who went all in on him and had the foresight to get in on him when he was a rookie were paying dirt cheap prices.
Right?
Some of his cards are going for 100,000 plus right now. So, um, I think Nick and I, it's pretty obvious, but Nick and I tend to focus more on the goats because that's just where we are in their collecting journey, right? But other people, could be on a different part of their journey. So, Nick, what else do you want to say around this?
Yeah, imagine being a Michigan fan that was like, I just love Tom Brady. I know Kurt's card care was on our show and he just loved Tom Brady. Buy up all his rookie cards when he's like, he looks like he's got a dad bod and he's doing that like 40-yard dash or whatever. And now
Mm-hmm.
look, right? He's, obviously the goat of goats. So, the thing I guess I want to let the audience know about goats doesn't just have to be sports, right? So you can be the greatest of all time. You could be Michael Jackson, right? Like he's one of the goats. So for the card world, this is actually really relevant for Pokemon. Like Charizard, he's never going to get injured. He never gets old. He never even has to retire. He's just a goat forever. Like he's just a permanent goat. Pikachu, same thing. And they'll make movies about it. They'll make books. They'll make coloring books for kids, video games until the end of time about these characters that will never age and always mean something to a massive amount of people.
Mm-hmm.
So GOATS absolutely applies to the TCG, the trading card world side of things, like the games, that they play. They're usable too. That's the difference. So you can actually use a Charizard card in a game. So that's important. And then one thing, we have the director of the hobby on, and he kind of enlightened me a little bit. And also Adam, the real guy on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
they talked about their non-sport collecting. And so Adam and his family collect Harry Potter cards. Harry Potter's a goat, whether you like him or not. Like the books are goat books, the movies are goat movies. He's got a pad at Universal that's going to be there for 100 years. It's not going anywhere.
Nope.
That's a goat. And again, they'll do spin-offs and shows and merchandise until the end of time, the way Disney is now, like 100 years ago. So collecting Harry Potter is probably pretty safe. Like there's some cool cards out there, like props with cut up letters from the movies and uniforms, and that's pretty cool. Like I'm actually like eyeballing that stuff right now, and I kind of want to shift into that a little bit. So that's another one. And then there's like, I guess it's in between prospects and goats, like Stranger Things, right? That show's about 8 years old or
Mm-hmm.
7 years old. Um, I don't know if it's necessarily achieved GOAT status. It might have for some people. For me personally, it's like a ridiculous show, but it's getting there. And they didn't make a ton of boxes. I almost wish I wasn't talking about this. I'm eyeballing like the ones that have autographs, like the series two.
Don't talk about it, Nick.
Yeah, I know.
Don't. I'm doing the same thing. Oh well, cat's out of the bag.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking at them. I guarantee you it's the cheapest they'll ever be. Unopened
Yeah.
stuff. The only thing is,
Hmm.
LZ and I talk about this all the time. I have an opening problem. So if I do buy any Stranger Things box, I probably have to give it to LZ to hide
Yeah.
somewhere. Not
Hmm.
just in his house, like somewhere in the state that I can't find it. Like some family member somewhere that I don't know about because I'll find a way. So anyway, shows, movies,
Hmm.
fictional
Seinfeld's.
characters, games, Seinfeld, right?
Yeah.
I have a Seinfeld card that I got signed at a venue. It's I think it's a 910 or an 810 or something like that. Awesome card. Like Jerry Seinfeld's a goat, man. He's
Hmm.
still doing stand up. He's still doing tours. People will talk about him the same way they talk about Richard Pryor and other goats of the past. So and music is another one, right? Like Jimi Hendrix is a goat. So you want to get into like collecting. I have some Nirvana cards because in my opinion, Nirvana's a goat. So I have some stuff like that out there. So the concept of GOAT versus prospect expands way beyond sports. It's really anything that's lasting and has an impact on society that you think will continue to have an impact on society in the future, 20, 30 years down the road. That's
Nick,
also a way to go.
sorry, I really like that because it actually ties into what I was saying at the beginning around how if you want to get into goats, it's going to be a little more pricey than you chasing some of these prospect rookie cards. But you know what? What you just said, you just expanded how many goats you can go after.
Right?
So if you can't afford Tom Brady, maybe you can afford some Harry Potter
Yeah.
cards,
Or Luke
or maybe
Skywalker or
or Luke.
whatever.
Yes, yes. So that's great. I'm glad you brought that up, and hopefully that resonates with some people who maybe are intimidated by jumping into these expensive Michael Jordan and Mickey Mantle cards. There are
Yeah,
other goats that
there's
you can
stuff
go
for
after.
everybody. Don't if you're in
Yep.
the audience and you feel like crap because you see a card sell for $10 million or $100,000 or ten, and you're like, man, I don't have that. Like, don't worry about that crap. Don't just like buy something for $5 and enjoy it, or
Yep.
buy something for $10 to get it autographed. Now it's 100 and enjoy it. Just have fun. Like, don't. This is supposed to be fun. So, yeah, like have
Hmm.
a good time with it.
Yep. Okay.
Cool. Goats versus prospects.
Bye,
Excellent. I think
everybody.
that's it.